Hello, hello. What's going on? Today is Thursday, September 4th, 2025. The time is 6:38 p.m. and had a very nice fun day in London today. Checked out a different area of the city. As you see by the title, was quite the day of approach, yeah. So, I'll get into the title in a bit, but firstly, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ephraim. I'm from the Bay Area, California, currently living in London right now, doing 30 days of proper filming, and I'm 25 years old. A few years ago, my dating life sucked. Then I took massive action, and now my dating life rocks. And what I do is I teach guys how to create a similar dating life for themselves. I teach guys how to get over their fear of flirting with women in public, and I teach them how to do it without having to recreate their personality, without having to change who they are. So I mainly work with introverted, busy professionals, guys who were taught that they needed to be extroverted in order to attract women, because that's what I was taught. And in reality, I found out that was not the case. I'm living, breathing proof that that is false information. And I have a playbook. I call it the Quiet Confidence Playbook. It's what I've been building and developing over the last 2.5 years. I've refined it to a T. You're going to be able to see it on my upcoming infields. In fact, the one I just posted, you'll see me using it and spamming it. And yeah, I install that playbook into the heads of my one on one private coaching clients. I do that when they come to work with me. Had quite a few clients in Serbia, most recently last month, and then the month before, or excuse me, the week after Serbia, I had a client in LA as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So just quickly, if you'd like me to, if you are familiar with my content and you would like me to simply install my playbook into you, then click the first link in the description below. I will be in London for the next 3 weeks. I have two immersion slots open, and I will be in Barcelona after that. I've got two slots open there as well. Otherwise, if you are not looking to radically change your dating life and schedule a free application call with me, then enjoy the free content. All right, let's get into it. So, yeah, I'll just narrate the day. As you see, I've been pretty consistent with these live streams. It's fun to just talk a bit about the day and do a debrief afterwards. Obviously, these clips will be something I can look back on in a few months and years, and I'm sure I'll be glad that I was able to go over each day. So, how did today go? So, firstly, checked out a new area of London called Liverpool Street. I'd never been, and it was quite busy. Now, not nearly as busy as Oxford Street, where I was yesterday, but Liverpool Street was still proper busy. Now, this was the business or one of the financial slash business districts of London. So that's where I spent the majority of the early afternoon. I started off by filming an uncut infield in this area, and I had a goal in mind with this infield. So the goal was that I was trying to demonstrate, or I guess recreate, a moment where one of my future clients has a lunch break, and he decides to go downtown. Let's say his office is on Liverpool Street. He decides to go downstairs. He's got 30 minutes to line up a date for himself. Right, today's Thursday. He wants a date on Friday, and so that's the exercise that I was going through. So when I was filming my intro, I was like, all right, so now we're gonna pretend that I work in one of these offices on Liverpool Street. I've set the timer to 30 minutes, and I've got a 30-minute lunch break to walk to a restaurant or to a cafe to get my lunch, walk back from the restaurant to my office, and either on the way there or on the way back, ideally, I will have lined myself up a date for Friday, tomorrow, right? So I was like, let's pretend I've got no plans tomorrow. So no, it was a fun little exercise. But as you see from the title, it went terribly, meaning that especially the first few approaches, I was getting just absolutely body slammed in the pavement. First, I think three or four girls didn't stop, kept walking. I think first girl didn't even acknowledge me, and then the second and third, at the very least, did say like, "Oh, I'm in a rush. I got to get back to work," but kept it pushing. Then after that, I believe there were quite a few decent interactions. One girl I remember in particular had the bull ring style nose ring. You know, the one that I forget what they call it. It's like it looks like a bull ring, but like I think it's septum. Yeah, septum piercing. But anyways, so that was a fun interaction. That one lasted about 3 4 minutes. She ended up being taken, but it was just a fun conversation overall. And then continued to have a string of blowouts. So you're going to see this uncut infield from Liverpool Street where I was just bam, 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 blowout, blowout, blowout. Probably about In total, I probably did about 12, anywhere from 10 to 12 approaches, maybe more. I can't remember, but essentially all undesirable outcomes. So, needless to say, by the time we got back to my theoretical office, I had not lined myself up a date. But it's all right. All content is useful, valuable content, right? So, in that scenario, the outro, right? I was hoping prior to starting the exercise, I was hoping I got to say, wow, look how effective and efficient this skill set is. You're able to just go out on your lunch break, 30 minutes, boom, bam, done, and get yourself a date for tomorrow. So that's how I was hoping it went, but unfortunately it did not go that way. And so instead, my outro sounded something like, well, not every day goes your way, huh? I was saying, like, yeah, well, sometimes you might come out on your lunch break and get absolutely battered, as you just saw. So unfortunately, we do not have a theoretical date lined up for Friday, which is what I was hoping to get lined up on camera, but it's okay. It was still a fun exercise nonetheless. And I find that guys that watch my content tend to prefer to watch me get rejected anyways. Maybe it's a human nature thing, right? We tend to like watching car crash compilations, but we don't like to watch safe driving compilations, right? So yeah, it's something in our psychology. We like to see other people fail. We like to see other people embarrassed. So I imagine this Liverpool rejection reel compilation will be a lot more high performing than my great conversations, and that's okay. Yeah, whatever normalizes me. And of course, as I mentioned a few live streams ago, I love showing these kinds of interactions and these kinds of strings of undesirable outcomes just to further normalize this and humanize myself and remind you that this is very normal, right? From the guy who's coached the skill set a bunch of times, from the guy who's helped a bunch of guys go from not even being way too fearful to ever walk over to a girl, and I've coached them to now do it on autopilot. And I can tell you confidently that it's very normal to have uh, an uncut infield demonstration go terribly like this, right? It's very normal to have a 30-minute stretch of time where you approach 12 girls and none of them are interested and barely any of them stop for you. That's just very normal, all right? Now, the best part, the cherry on top of this entire beginning of this day is as soon as we were done with the uncut infield, I mean, as soon as we were done, I went in for another approach and the interaction went amazing, right? So this is still on Liverpool Street. I got this one clipped as well. I remember telling Dirty Dan, the cameraman, I remember telling him after this conversation, I was like, damn it, if we had just extended it just a bit, then this, I would have had the date lined up on camera, but unfortunately the uncut infield was already done. But yeah, I was still on Liverpool Street afterwards, and so I went up to this girl that ended up being from Mexico. Great conversation, and she told me she was an artist, a music producer. So we had a real fun conversation there. She loved it. Right, very fun interaction. Then I gave her my WhatsApp. I gave her my fake number, but still on camera. You're able to see me exchange details and then line up a date. We were talking about meeting up tomorrow, which would have been Friday. But yeah, as mentioned, I'm giving fake numbers out here so I can separate work from play. Yeah, these are all for demonstrations, but yeah, you'll see on camera that I was able to line up the fake date there. So unfortunately, I was talking with Daniel after this. I was like, damn it, those hurt. Those hurt because I'm knowingly typing in the wrong number into her phone, knowing that she'll text this eventually and it'll say like undeliverable, or if it is a real number, right, just not my number, someone will be like, you got the wrong number, lady. So it's always tough just to imagine it from their perspective, but hey, life goes on, right? True abundance mentality there is being able to separate it so that if I do end up wanting to go on dates, I know I have the skill set, so I can do it off camera. But when we've got the camera rolling, then don't want things to get messy. So, but yeah, I don't plan on going on any dates while I'm out here. I just want to be very sharp and clear minded. Each day I go out for filming, and I'm already tired. Getting home, doing a live stream, and then editing until 12 a.m. just to wake up and do it all over again. Go out for filming at 1 p.m. So I'm already tired enough as it is. I do not need to add alcohol or dates into the mix right now. So yeah, but that was the beginning of the day. Anyways, let's continue on. So after that artist girl from Mexico, after that approach was done, had a very long stretch of pretty much blowouts from. So now you see why I titled it 100 blowouts, right? Now I think, I probably only did about 20, somewhere between 15 and 20 approaches today in this 3 hour stretch. But in the majority of them, no, wait, I mean, excuse me, 20 to 30, 20 to 25 approaches, probably like after this, the 12 that I did. 50 to, I'm getting so jumbled up. I have to look back and see how many approaches I did. I have no idea. If I had to guess, total in the day was probably about 20 to 25. And 12 or so of them were done in this uncut infield. But anyways, what I was getting at was after that infield we shot, it was a 30-minute video. And then after this conversation with the girl from Mexico, we walked from Liverpool Street towards Monument, this district in London called Monument. And it was a lot quieter than I was hoping, but still went in for a few approaches on the way. In fact, one memorable one was a four set, four girls, and then the one that I liked had wings on her neck. It was like she had like these cool neck tattoos and then a sleeve. And so, of course, I turned around, I walked over to the four of them, got them all to stop, and then dropped off the compliment. I said something along the lines of, "Wow, you all look incredible, but you look amazing. You caught my eye." And so they all lit up, and then they started to say something, and I said, "What are you guys up to?" I kind of cut them off by accident. And then I felt them kind of migrating, so I called it out. I go, "All right, I feel you all migrating away from me right now." And then I look at the one who I was flirting with mainly, and she goes, "Yeah, well," and then her friend finishes the sentence and goes, "She's engaged." And then everybody, like all five of us, start laughing. And then I start walking away from them, and I say, "Okay, well, no worries. You look amazing." And then as I'm walking away, I say, "Tell your husband I said hello." And then they loved that. They started laughing as they crossed the street. So that was a nice bold approach. You'll get to see that eventually. And then yeah, a couple one-off approaches here and there. I remember another really good conversation. There was a girl in a pink blazer, which you'll see. Quick, I think 4-minute interaction because she was on her way to work, but everything about the approach was really great, start to finish. She loved it, and so I remember asking her because she had mentioned that she was on her way to work. So about 3 minutes into the conversation, I said, "All right, you said you're on your way to work. Are you like, am I making you late here?" She said, "Well, I've got 10 minutes before I need to be there." And I said, "Oh, perfect." And then she goes, "And it's a 10-minute walk from where I'm at right now." And I go, "Oh shit, okay, well, look, I don't want boss to be mad at you, so I want to take you out for a drink." She says, "Yeah, that's great." And so once again, I put in my fake phone number into her phone. Oh, it hurts even saying it. Yeah, just knowing that I'm not ever gonna actually be able to take these girls out. But hey, that's how it goes. So yeah, I put in just some random digits into her phone and told her, "All right, well, I'll reach out. I'll take you out for a pint." And she agreed. So there you go. You'll get to see that date lined up on camera again with the girl in the purple blazer. And then let's see what else I have. I have my notes here. Yeah. And then the four set, excuse me, was before this approach. But anyways, I'm kind of going out of order. But we walked from, at this point we were at the proper London Monument, this like this huge statue. I got Dan Man to take a photo of me there, and then we walked the London Bridge, which was fun. Couple approaches on the London Bridge, nothing of memory, just quick blowouts. And then after the London Bridge, we walked through the London Bridge district. So I guess after the London Bridge, it becomes the area of London becomes called the London Bridge district, and so that was like way quieter than I was hoping for, but did end up getting I think about 4 to 5 approaches in while doing a circle around that area, all blowouts. So just adding to the rejection reel. So today was a proper rejection reel kind of a day. I think if I clipped together most of these, we could I could make like a rejection reel simply from today's content, which is great, which I'm happy about. So that means I'll have a proper rejection reel in my red polo outfit. You'll see on camera eventually. And then we ended the day. So we did our lap around the London Bridge area, crossed the bridge back over to the monument side, and then we walked. By that point, it was close to rush hour. It was about 4 p.m., somewhere between 3:30 and 4 p.m. So it was starting to get pretty busy because that's the business district. So people were starting to get off of work. So we ended up walking through that area, got a bunch of approaches in. There's this fun sequence too where I was across the street from Daniel, so I was getting some approaches in while cars were driving by, so it'll look like a proper movie scene. But a bunch of blowouts back to back. I'd say about 5 blowouts from that stretch on from that stretch to the very last conversation of the day, which we ended on. It was about 4:15 or so p.m. I think. I can't, I'm getting it mixed up, but somewhere around 4 p.m. I walked up to the last girl of the day, which ended up being a really nice 8 minute conversation. And this was a girl that was from from the UK, but had lived in, I think she said, New York and Washington D.C. for like majority of her life, and then back to the UK, something like that. So she had a mixed accent, but yeah, I mean, very very great conversation to end on. Once again, gave her the fake phone number, and then set up a date with her. I told her on camera. I said, "Well, look, I asked her, does she drink? She says, yeah. And I say, well, look, I'm not drinking until the end of my trip, and then I'll go hard, but I got to be sharp and on the ball." And so I told her I'll probably reach out to her, in a couple of weeks, for our date. I told her once she reaches out to me, I said I'll probably want to set up a date with you closer to a couple weeks from now, and she agreed. So yeah, gave her my fake phone number, and then I walked away. Ah, it still hurts, but yeah, that was an amazing conversation. So 8 minute infields, you'll get to see that eventually. And then that wrapped up our session. So we were back by the Liverpool Street station by then. And then just a little bonus approach that I did, which was fun, was as we were getting rid of the camera gear, Daniel was breaking down his camera. I was taking off my mic setup and handing it to him. There was, okay, now this was the hottest girl I had seen all day, right? And so this one was a proper pleasure approach. I was like, all right, I'm not mic'd up anymore. We're not filming. We're done. And this girl looked amazing. She was about my complexion, a little lighter, but she had like just the most perfect curly hair, and she was just so pretty. And I though but the problem here is she had a bouquet of roses in front of her, and she was sat at a restaurant that's facing Liverpool Street Station. In fact, if you look up Liverpool Street Station, Liverpool exit, and you look up like restaurants nearby, you could probably even find like the exact scene where that I was looking at. But yeah, I saw the bouquet of roses, and I noticed that when I clocked her finally, I was like staring at her for 3 seconds, and then she looked over at me, and so I was like, okay, something tells me she's already seen me, and so I was like, this is perfect. I know she's attracted to me. This is just the energy I'm moving with, by the way. Who knows? Maybe she's not, but I'm just gonna assume the best because why not? And but yeah, I saw the bouquet of roses, and then 3 seconds later, I go, ah, fuck it. So I walk over. Right, she's literally sitting about 20 feet away from me, where Daniel and I are standing. And yeah, I get in front of her. So there's like these like gates, barred gates, kind of sectioning off the restaurant she's sitting at, and the walkway to the Liverpool Street station. And so I end up, I walk over, so I go, excuse me. Right. So she sat down facing me, and she looks over, and she goes, yeah, what's up? And I go, are you on a date right now? I point to the roses underneath, on the table. I point and I go, are you on a date right now? And she goes, yeah. So I guess her date was inside ordering food or whatever. She goes, yeah. And I go, damn it. All right. Well, I was walking over here to tell you look absolutely gorgeous. And she loved the compliment. And then I didn't even engage her any further. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna head out before your date gets out here. But yeah, you look so good. And then I walked away. Oh, just how unfortunate, right? Because she looked really, really good. But to be fair, that was probably the universe telling me that I don't need to be going on dates right now, anyway. So, I'm somewhat glad that I was able to just drop off the compliment and it ended there because that's the kind of girl that would take up a lot of my time if we did end up going on dates, right? I would be wanting to see her a lot while I'm out here in London. So, but I need to be content focused, right? I keep reminding myself the focus of this trip is content. I'm purposely not going on dates. It's literally the purpose of this trip is content. And the reason why I'm so focused on it and I'm purposely going on this hiatus of dates is because I'm trying to invest into the viewers. I'm trying to invest into my private community, Pull Private. Yeah, I'm trying to invest into the guys that are in there, the guys that have done their immersions, but they're still looking to me as a leader, and they want to see me charge into battle so that they can continue to have that permission, so that they can do the same. And then most importantly, I'm focusing my time on this content for the guys who have yet to even come across my channel yet. And maybe in 1 year, 2 years time, they'll come across this live stream or one of the infields that I'm filming out here in London, and this will be the video that breaks open their reality and causes them to reach out to either me or one of my friends and learn the skill set and change their whole lives. And I'm making this content because one day, maybe in 2, 3, 5, 10 years time, a guy will tell me, "Thank you, Ephraim, because the only reason I've got this rock star dating life, the only reason I'm so good at approach now and I can get dates on demand is because of that video you made when you were in London." And the only reason, right, that video turned out so sick was because I was disciplined and I decided not to go drink. I decided not to indulge in any dates, and I decided to just head down, focus. So yeah, it's funny being in this position, right? Because this is about the first time in my whole journey here with approach with coaching that I have I've gone to a new country and then purposely not gone on dates, right? This did happen towards the end of my Serbia experience because I started having all these immersions lined up, and I was like, okay, I don't have time for dates right now. I have to invest into my clients. But this is the first like proper full month where I'm not coaching, but I still am choosing not to go on any. And so I just definitely feel the character progression here, where part of it is me learning how to discipline myself, but then part of it also is just me truly feel like now I truly feel what it's like to be abundant, right? Because this is the first time when I've been giving out a fake number to girls that actually want to go on dates with me, right? So it's like this is I don't know. I just feel like Christian and the entourage. I remember about a year ago we were talking in a group coaching call, and the term hot girl mode came up, and I feel as though that's what I'm experiencing now. I'm experiencing what it's like to live in hot girl mode. Where you imagine a hot girl gets guys are hitting on her all the time through different channels, Instagram, Tinder, in person, or coworkers, and so she's probably giving out fake numbers all the time, right? And so for the first time in my life, I truly get to experience what that is like. Just having all these potential dates lined up and still just giving out a fake number anyways, just for discipline is just it's just an interesting position to be in. But now I'm really learning what that term abundance means. I thought I knew, and I think I did know, but now I'm knowing to another level. So but yeah, that's how the day ended with that nice conversation. And then we hopped on the train, headed our separate ways, and excited to do it all over again tomorrow. So yeah, I mean that's about what I had to talk about here. Still a very fun, productive day. Still got a lot of good clips in. Probably another 2 hours worth of footage. And for those of you watching, hopefully you've seen my most recent video. It just dropped, an hour long infield uncut here in London. It was 2 hours after I landed. After I landed at Heathrow Airport, literally 2 hours after we clicked record, mic'd me up, and started filming that 1 hour long uncut infield, and that's one of two. I've got another 1 hour long uncut infield that'll be dropping pretty soon here, either tomorrow or the next day. I'm gonna edit it up as soon as I get off of this live stream. In fact, so yeah, hopefully you're able to see me just destroy all potential obstacles. Guys talk about how they need to be circumstances need to be perfect. They talk about how they need a good night's rest before they can approach. They talk about how they need to have their perfect outfit on and their perfect haircut and all this shit. Yeah, they talk about how they have to be in tip-top shape to approach a girl and get good results. All of this fluff, right? In reality, what are they saying? What do I hear, at least when they say that? All I hear is, Ephraim, I'm too scared to walk over to that girl. Yeah, and I get it. And part of what I demonstrate in these uncut infields when I've just landed in a new country and I'm just throwing myself into the deep end, part of what I'm trying to demonstrate is that it is possible to do that. And so if I can do that, then that means by default that it is possible. So all of these excuses guys have about you cannot get results with approach unless blank, blank, and blank. That means that all of those are by default wrong. I've nullified all of their excuses because I just did it, and I stacked the odds against myself. The same obstacles that they said prevented them from walking over. I stacked those all at once on top of each other, and then I approached anyways, right? So all that I've done in that demonstration is I've eliminated every possible obstacle, or at least a lot of them, right? If you're 4'7", okay, I haven't eliminated that one. I apologize, but the vast majority of obstacles that guys claim to have, right? Oh, I feel overwhelmed. I'm in a new country. I've never approached. I don't know the culture. It's a different weather. I haven't gotten any sleep. I'm wearing shorts. Everybody's wearing pants. It's raining right now. It was raining before. Oh no, there's so many people around. Oh, there's not enough people. Oh, I've gone 20 minutes without approach. Oh my God, I've gone a week, right? Every single excuse I've stacked on top of each other, and then I've in one fell swoop, eliminated them all, right? No warm-up approaches, no easing my way into it, no asking for directions, none of it. No dropping off my suitcase, no waiting until I've checked into my Airbnb, none of it, right? I landed, I took the train straight to Covent Garden and I just started approaching, uncut, mic'd up, filmed, big camera pointed at me. Never met the cameraman before that moment. And we just started flying, right? And so if I can prove that that is possible, then what I have also proved is that the guys that are trying to use those as excuses, they're not actually valid excuses. All they're saying is, I'm scared. All they are saying when they bring up these excuses is, I'm scared. And the good news is, I'm not sitting on this live stream trying to talk down on those people that are scared. I'm trying to get them to admit that they're scared because guess what? My name is Ephraim, and I help guys that are too scared to do this learn how to do this. Yeah, but first we must admit to ourselves that we are scared. Yeah, I cannot help a guy whose ego is so big that he's claiming that all these obstacles are legitimate just so that he can get himself off the hook, right? I cannot help those people. The guys that I can help are guys that watch the infield and can admit to themselves, okay, shit, I was trying to use that as an excuse as to why I couldn't approach, and Ephraim just did it. So the truth is, I'm just scared, right? And once you can admit that to yourself, then you've proven that you are able to humble yourself. You've proven that you're able to lower your ego, and yeah, that's exactly what I do, right? I prove guys wrong. I prove their obstacles to be fake, and then I teach them how to get over the true obstacle here, the one and only true constant obstacle, which is that we are fearful of showing our desire in public. We are fearful of being judged by the people that are watching and hearing our approach. We are fearful of the girl not liking us and reacting in a poor way. We're fearful of the surrounding security guards and cops because we've been told that, oh, this is illegitimate or this is wrong, or girls will claim sexual assault or they'll claim harassment, right? This is all stuff that a lot of my clients, when we first start working together, this is all stuff that they're fearful of. And one day and one approach at a time, I help them smash through these fears. Yeah, I help them absolutely eliminate each and every one of them so that by the time we're done working together, they've got every single tool in their tool belts and they know how to now approach on their own. And most importantly, they know what to look out for within their own approaches. Meaning, if we spend 3 days together and I'm pushing you into all these approaches and I'm helping you learn how to improve and learn what to look for within your own approach, I'm teaching you how to audit your own approach, then that means, and hopefully you can extrapolate here, right? Let's connect some dots. That means that when my client is done working with me, they can go back to their home country and continue implementing everything they've just learned. But more importantly, they know now what to look out for, in order to improve their approach, in order to iterate, right? So not only do I teach them how to approach, but I teach them how to improve their approach. And that's infinite, right? That is an infinite skill set. Now it's up to the guy and how often he's going to go and practice that skill and how often he's going to practice iterating the skill, right? And so I've got clients, Isaac, as you've seen, the guy's flying, especially my guy Sam, that's out in LA, that I coached in LA, Venice Beach. He's absolutely flying, right? And he's showing up to the weekly calls on Sunday, talking about how he's practicing exactly what I'm talking about. He took the intangibles, he learned through osmosis during his immersion. And then after his immersion, now he's going to San Diego and practicing. Now he's checking out Venice Beach once again, different parts of LA, and he knows what to look out for and what to listen in for, right, on his approaches and how to course correct, how to self correct. All right, so that's important. But, anyways, boys, that is what I teach. I teach men how to be free. I teach men how to break through their social fears and social anxieties and how to pursue what they want in this life. I teach guys how to line up dates the real man way, yeah, the true man way, not through dating apps, not through trying to hit on your coworkers, not through the nice guy route of trying to pretend you're friends with girls and then 6 months down the road finally confess your love to them. No, I teach men how to do it the good old fashioned man, real man, manly way, which is walking straight over and declaring your desire in front of everybody. Yeah, everybody can hear and see and listen and whatever. And you don't care and I don't care. And what do you know? You do that enough times and you do that with enough conviction enough times, you will find girls that already like you as is. Meaning you don't have to be looks maxed. you don't have to be gym maxed. Yeah. If you look at me, I'm a fairly scrawny guy. I weigh 140 to 145 pounds. You don't have to be height maxed. I'm 5'9". In London, that is far below the average height. Yeah, as far as for men, I'm below the average height in the country that I'm approaching in, and I'm absolutely crushing it out here. If I wasn't giving fake numbers out to these girls, I would have had so many dates lined up already. As a below average height guy, as a below average muscle mass guy, yeah, as a far below average income guy, yeah. And so all these fucks on the internet, red pill guys, telling you got to be height maxed, looks maxed, gym maxed, cute maxed, blah 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 blah, money maxed. They're all lying to you. Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad people, and I'm not saying that they're aware that they're lying either, right? Because some of these people that are spewing out this content might genuinely believe that these things must be true in order for you to find success with girls. Because that's what I used to genuinely believe also back before I learned how to cold approach. And then when I finally learned this skill set, slowly but surely I realized that all of those people that are saying those things are lying. And they might not even know that they're lying, but they are lying because I can prove that they're lying. How can I prove it? Please browse through my channel. Please go and watch my first ever infield that I put out and then go watch this most recent one. Please go watch just how many dates I've been able to line up on camera. We're not even talking about my off camera life. This is just on camera for you. These are just demonstrations for you, right? So if you can see how I'm able to operate in the world in a brand new country, just arrived, 2 hours, no sleep, haven't slept in 20 hours. If you can see that I can do this, then you can connect the dots that if you build this skill set to even like 5% proficiency compared to me, right? So if you look at me and you think, wow, I don't know if I can get to Ephraim's level or it'll take me a while, I'm telling you from my level that if you can just get 5% as good as me, that's good enough to get yourself dates. And you probably think I'm kidding, and I'm genuinely not kidding. Yeah. Now there's certainly, depending on where you're starting, different guys start at different starting points. And so one guy might have plenty more things to work on than the next guy. But the point is that it is achievable. All of these metrics, they are controllable. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about things that are not controllable, like your height. You just shrug your shoulders, accept the hand that you were dealt, and you move forward anyways. Yeah. Things like social skills, 100% in your control. Yeah. Now, I understand that if you were raised in a household that your mom and dad allowed you to sit in your basement and play Minecraft your entire upbringing and childhood, then yes, you're going to be starting at a disadvantage compared to a guy who was thrown into sports and theater and all these different areas, these different clubs growing up. Yeah, you'll be at a disadvantage socially, but it's still 100% within your control to increase your capacity and increase your social skills. In fact, I've got guys that are in my I've got one guy in particular in my private community that genuinely has a learning disability, right? A speech pattern, not a, excuse me, not a learning, a speech pattern disability. And he is working day in and day out on correcting that so that he can get the best out of this skill set, right? So that's not a guy I've done an immersion with, but just one of the guys in Pull Private, which by the way you can join if you could apply to join at least if you'd like to see more of the weekly presentations that I do during the weekly calls, which you can go back to and watch. I leaked one recently. It was called the inner game Pull Private inner game presentation. As well as if you'd like my WhatsApp number, be a part of our WhatsApp Pull Party group where we hold each other accountable. We do the wingmanning virtually from different countries. Yeah, guys hop on the phone with each other and approach together from different zip codes, different area codes, right? But anyways, link information is in the description if you'd like to join that. But yeah, to wrap up, I've been kind of talking in circles. So just to wrap up here, so I can get to the editing. Yeah, I free men. Yeah, that's what I do. I call myself a freedom architect because very quickly, if you do end up applying and qualifying to work with me, then what you will very quickly realize is that getting laid is just 1% of what this skill set actually provides you. Yeah, and I get it that if you're sexually frustrated right now, which is how I found this space as well, then that's really your only metric for success, and that's really the only thing you're worried about gaining when you work when you eventually work with me if you're qualified, right? Most guys just want to figure out how to stop being sexually frustrated. So yeah, I get it. Right now, that's probably a big deal to you, and I can respect that because at one point I could relate. But what I will say is that the guys that build this skill, right? Let's point to guys like Isaac, who within I think it was 2 weeks of joining my paid school community. We hadn't even done an immersion yet. He broke his 4 year dry streak. 4 year dry streak. 12, 24, 48 month dry streak. I don't even want to do it in years. What is that? 52 times 4, 200 week, or not years, but weeks. I think it's 52 weeks per year. 200 plus week dry streak, right? He broke that dry streak within 2 weeks of joining my private paid community. And the way that he did that was by working with me very closely on his technique, how to correct it, and how to approach effectively. And what do you know? He had dates lined up out his ass, and one of the dates he went the distance with. Yeah, after 4 years of no action, right? So this is what I mean. Now, the reason I'm telling this story is that as soon as he had that happy ending, that fun experience, he sent a note to the group, right? He sent a voice note, and one of the things he mentioned is exactly what I'm saying, which is he was so happy and so proud of himself for finally breaking that dry streak. But then he looked around and he realized, job's not done, is it? Still got a lot of work to do. Still not living in the quality house I want to be living in yet. Still not working that quality job I want to be working, or still haven't started that business yet. Still haven't conquered the world yet, right? So you're going to realize very quickly that yes, that is an area that I can help you with. But as soon as you've accomplished that goal of relieving yourself of sexual frustration, then you're going to see the true value of cold approach, which is it allows you to focus on other shit that matters more than getting laid. Yeah, it allows you to focus on the things in your life that you've been neglecting because your sexual frustration has been clouding your judgment and clouding your vision. And as soon as that sexual frustration is lifted, you're going to realize there's been a lot of areas that you've been neglecting. Maybe it's family trying to see you, but you're so worried about trying to get laid that you're neglecting your parents that are getting older. You're neglecting the family that's inviting you to trips and inviting you to barbecues and stuff. Yeah, and then 20, 30, 40 years go by, all of those people are dead, and you look back and you recognize that all that time you were spending trying to get laid, you're regretting it because the people that mattered most to you in your life have passed, right? So this goes deep, doesn't it? Yeah, we're talking 20, 30-year projection right here. That I'm freeing guys of 30-year future regrets by teaching them this skill set, right? Not to mention guys will have a big presentation or a big job interview the next day, but they're so sexually frustrated that they decide, you know what, finally I got a Tinder match and she's only free tonight, even though I have my whole career hanging on this presentation that's due at work tomorrow. I'm gonna say fuck it and I'm gonna go on this date. And then they probably don't even bring her back to her place, but they're drunk as fuck when they get home. They say fuck the presentation, and they don't give as good of a presentation the next day because they're hungover, or they squander. I think that's the word. They fuck up the job interview because they didn't prepare because they were so busy trying to get laid, and you know they that impacts their future, right? So this is what I mean. It goes a lot deeper than just getting the girl. Yeah, the reality is you free yourself from the need to chase women all the time, and you're unlocking who you are truly, right? Who we were prior to puberty, prior to getting this ridiculous sex urge, right? That's us at our purest. So anyways, so yeah, that's all I want to talk about, boys. So anyways, if you want with bringing it back to the skill set itself, if you want to be just like my guys Isaac, Sam, Adam, John, who have built this skill set and taken it from me specifically in person, I've coached them through it very delicately and very effectively. In fact, you're going to get to see more content from Isaac pretty soon here. But if you would like to skip the line, stop banging your head against the wall, and stop spending months to years out of your life trying to learn the skill set on your own, props to you for giving it a shot. But if you're ready to just stop trying to figure it out alone, then click the first link in the description below to schedule a free application call with me. And on that call, we will be, firstly, you'll have the ability to ask me questions related to your dating life and where you're at. And I'll give you my God honest feedback about everything that you ask me. And then I'll also create a personally tailored game plan for you so that if we are not a good fit to work together, because the truth is, I'm not even gonna give you my offer if I don't think that we're 100% a good fit. If I don't know for a fact that I can get you results. So if we're not a good fit, then what I'll do is instead of pitching you, I'll just give you an individually tailored game plan. I'll make it with you on the spot about what you can do, what you can change about your life and about yourself to make it so that we are a good fit to work together in the future, or at the very least to set you off for success moving forward. Because 99% of guys are attacking this skill set without a plan, and that's the worst way to do it. Yeah, is just blindly trying to figure this out on your own. It's not what I did. I paid an expert thousands to help me, so no wonder I was able to fly with the skill set very quickly. All right, boys. So that link is in the description below. Click it to schedule a free application call with me. Otherwise, onwards and fucking upwards, boys. I'll talk to you soon. Let's